My name is Dalian Artanian, and I am the author of Falseta, Voices and Echoes of the Colosseum, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. Volume 1 has already been written, and I'm working on Volume 2 as we speak. I've always enjoyed fantasy, and growing up, I used to read many sci-fi books, fantasy books, that would take me away from my everyday life. I've kind of grew up with that thought of maybe one day of doing the same thing, writing something new so that the younger generations growing up would actually get to experience what I experienced when I was young. I actually first realized that I wanted to be a writer when I actually turned 13 years old. The authors that have inspired me, I would say C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. My favorite one is actually Tolkien. I like Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. You can actually follow the story from beginning to the end, and it has really good characters. Something that you can really get lost in. I also enjoy watching fantasy films, and after watching quite a few of them, I decided to start writing short stories, and it was from then that I guess you could say I found my calling. I decided then to create a fantasy world that was different and fresh and new. I have written 8 short stories, and I have written 1 film script. I have written 1 solid full novel. The title is Falseta, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. The subtitle is Voices and Echoes of the Colosseum. And they basically, each book takes off from where the other one ends. So it's a continuous story. The creation of the entire story took me about 8 years because of the originality of the story, from the characters, from the world, from the architectural to the plants and creatures. What makes the Bolgian very different from any other weapon is that the Bolgian actually works from the energy of the Guardian. Basically, it can change into any weapon that the Guardian wishes to. Ixchel Agus was the illustrator who did the conceptual designs for the cover and the illustrations inside the novel. I think what makes a good story is a story that actually has a good, strong plot to it. Believable characters, and characters that one can actually relate to, and characters that people can actually fall in love with. To me, the importance of a story is not only the story plot, but the character. I mean, to me, characters are big when it comes to reading a book. Most of my ideas I get from reading other fantasy novels. Depending on my research, there again, it could be from fantasy films that have been out, especially when I have to create the characters. Sometimes I have to study the philosophy or the education that each individual character needs. I actually plan it out. I think about what I'm going to write, think about the direction, and I actually kind of blueprint it, map it out in the direction that I'm going to go with it. Some of the characters are from things that have happened with events that I went through in life as far as experiences in growing up. Arcannon and Denusian are the main ones that actually have the most difficulty in the story. Especially Damius, and he goes from being this good character to transforming into being a very bad character, because it changes him, which is, you know, the struggles in life and wanting to gain power. Even in a fantasy world, you still have everyday things that go on. I mean, just like in life, you have family problems, confrontations, dramas. Same thing in this fantasy world. The surprising things that I learned in creating my book, that it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. It was the most surprising thing, because I found out that writing a story based upon reality is much easier, because you don't have to go through all the process of doing a lot of research, and research as far as the name of the characters, trying to create worlds that don't exist, trying to create creatures that don't exist. I do that the stories would transfer very well into the big screen because, there again, because a lot of people can actually relate to the characters, and it has a lot of action that the big screen usually requires. It has a lot of the impact and the drama that big screen usually hungers for. So I strongly feel that yes, it will fit very well for the big screen. The film script, which is called Guardians, happens to be my favorite simply because I kind of condensed the whole story down into one film, which is based within 2 hours. I actually brought everything together. And the way that it turned out has really surprised me, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm very proud of the way that it came out, story-wise.